Functional component, that's what we see here. So here we have a functional component and the name of the component is app and it returns a piece of JSX. So if I want, I can get rid of everything and just return hello app component. And that's it. So and then I have to return this export default of this app component so that this can be imported wherever I want. I can get rid of this logo.svg because I'm not using it. So we should also import React from React. So let me show you that. But if we are using latest version of React.js, then we can even omit this line. We don't need this line if you are using the latest version of React, which is React 17. But it's a good practice to just add it so that you know that under the hood this React is actually considering this and making these components rendered. So now let's go ahead and see if we get this output. So here we have the hello app component. Perfect. Let's go ahead and create some components. So in this src folder, let's create a folder called components. And the naming convention we should follow is Pascal naming convention. So let me create another functional component here with let's say hello functional .js. I could say JS or JSX. Any syntax is fine, but I will use JS. And in here, the first thing I will do is import again React. So import React from React, and then I'm going to define my component. So I will say function, and I will just say hello functional. That's it. And this function will be becoming my React component. So I have to just say return, and then I have to return a piece of markup which should be wrapped around either this kind of bracket. This is called React fragment, or I can also use something like div. Anything is fine. And then there should be something. So I will say h3 and say hello from stateless functional component. But I cannot use this component. So let's say I want to display this component on my browser. I won't see that because till now I have not included the component inside app.js file or app component, because app is the one which gets loaded in our index.js. So any component that we want to use, we should include it inside our app.js. So here I have to import hello component, but I won't be able to see the hello functional component because what I have to do is from here I have to do an export default of. So I will say export default and then copy the same name and paste it here. So now as soon as I do this, then I will be able to import it here. So I will say hello functional component and then hit enter. So it will automatically import it. And now that I have imported it, so what I can say, I can just use this component as a normal HTML tag. So like this. So if I go to the browser now, I should see hello from stateless functional component. Perfect. And let me put this one in a normal h2 tag. So now what we see is hello from app component, hello from stateless functional component. And if you see this, stateless functional component is nothing but it is a child inside the app component, and that's what we also learned. There can be many components and they can be nested within each other. So this is one way to write it, or there's also another way. So if I want to I can reuse or copy this component as many times as I want. If you see this, I will get 3 times the same things, and that's what is reusability. I can reuse the component as many number of times as I want, and it's going to do the exact same thing that was defined inside this component, which is just printing some message here. But you can have a form, input boxes, drop down, action buttons, whatever you want you can do. Let's say now I want to comment this, so how I can do the commenting part. So here I can also, for commenting I should use like this curly braces, and then I can write any JavaScript inside this. So for comment I will say star slash star slash slash star slash. Because this is not having any content inside this, what I can also do is I can just self close it, and this is also allowed. So I can say like this, I don't need this closing tag, instead I should just self close it by slash. That's fine. So it will work exactly the same way as it worked. So we have this component. So we now know how to create a functional component. Let's go ahead and create another component call. So I can create hello functional.css file and add it into this component and add some CSS to it. That's perfectly fine. And that will help us to basically scope our styling to specific component. So let's say I will just create a file called hello functional.css. Hit enter, and I can write a CSS here. Let's say in here I have this h3 tag, so I will say h3 tag, make the color as this. It won't reflect now. If I go, it won't reflect now because I have not imported this class in this CSS file in this component for JavaScript file. So I can say import and then slash dot slash, and then I can say hello css dot this. So and now as soon as import, so it will become like this. You can see the styling. So this styling is only going to impact this component because it is scoped inside this. So if I change this value, I can see a different styling. So this is how we can also create style classes for our component. So this was about the functional component. So in the next video, we will look at the